Welcome into another episode of Kollectiv Knowledge. I'm your host, Shane Barrett. You can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. And joining me tonight is fantasy football contributor for Going For Two. That's where we met. DFS and Best Ball with the Dynasty Rewind, and also the Gotham City SR podcast host. And it is Dan, the Australian man, Rosier. Dan,
hi, how are we?
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I enjoy a very good loud opening. I got to tell you, there's nothing like starting a podcast and hearing someone scream at you. I'm a big fan. I had an old podcast. It was the Back Row Giants.
Yeah.
And literally the start would be me screaming at people. And and people like people. It was really just me in a room screaming at,
your computer.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a good opening, I thought. I just yell at someone. It was the same thing every time. I don't know if anyone ever listened to the show, but I got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
That's what mattered. I just, I'd be at work just screaming the opening intro to my show. Oh, what's he doing? Doesn't matter. Just leave me alone. He'll be out in 10 minutes. So, let him get it out of his system. But no, thank you. It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming on, man. I'm excited. This should be entertaining. You and I are in a couple group chats together, and I never leave bored when you're involved. So
I try to avoid. I try to avoid as many. I don't mute them. I just try to avoid them. I'm in them, but I really don't want to. Because you'll open it up randomly, and it's like some weird thing. You're like, oh man, why? Oh, this is a wormhole I don't need this afternoon. I'm like, all right.
I think you and I both agree, though, that Discord is an absolute abomination.
Did Jay put you up to this?
No.
Okay.
I truly hate Discord. I think as much as you do.
Jay was harassing me at one point. Dan, you got to get in Discord. Like, Jay, just leave me alone, man. I don't need this right now. I got a full-time job. I got kids. I don't need Discord. I know what happens. So I'm in it. And I told Jeff what would happen. I'd download it. I'd get in it. And now I just
not do anything.
Now I've got an app like using up all my data. And I just
exactly.
What am I doing here? But yeah, I understand and appreciate its use. I have no use for it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
You're looking at, it's a group me chat, and then it's Discord channels, and then it's Slack chat, Twitter channels, Facebook groups. Just, leave me alone. I don't need this. Yeah. That's all right. At one point I was doing articles and I was giving them to Jeff. I was in the Facebook groups. Jeff Lambert, our guy Going For Two. Hi, Jeff. Hope you're well. And he'd be like, yeah, just drop them into the DFS, the DFS or the Facebook groups that I've got lined up. So I'd be like, okay, this is me taking, 8 minutes of my day, because I need those 8 minutes. Doesn't matter what for. That's irrelevant, but I need them. So I'd be like copying the links and chucking them into his groups for his company. And he kept kicking the articles out. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? So I kicked Facebook off. I'm done with that. So that's one less distraction. Discord, you could be next. We'll see. But my God, what a waste of time. Yeah. It's okay. Chat groups, aren't they great?
Lovely. All right, got to pay the bills. So let's do a quick ad read. Are you on Thrive Fantasy yet? Well, come prop up on Thrive Fantasy next football season, because football season's over, tier. But they do have soccer, or for you, I believe, also football. Basketball. They've got esports, golf, and if we ever get out of lockout, baseball. So on Thrive, you pick 10 out of the 20 available player props to build your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value based on the likelihood of hitting the over or the under. And then you hit the most props and rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. It's pretty easy to win, if you ask me, because even I can win. So use promo code FFShaneB when signing up, and you can do that on Thrive Fantasy on the App Store, Play Store, or by visiting the website www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. I'll get there eventually. Words are hard.
Working your way through it. It's okay. It's Tuesday night. You've dropped the kids. You got through your ad read. Relax.
Yeah.
You know,
let's do it.
You're doing well, Shane. You're doing well tonight. Very good. Very good.
All right, Dan. So first question of the interview, I always start with this question, is when was your first fantasy football league?
Yeah, so I think it was 2013 or 14. So I moved to the US around 2012, I want to say.
Okay.
So it might have been a year or two after that. But ironically, it wasn't an American league. It was an English one. My brother, he was based in the UK. He's now down in Miami, which is great for me and the kids and the family. So
nice.
Which is, yeah, it's wonderful, you know. Yeah, we're closer now than what we were when we were kids because he lived on the other side. Well, he lived on the other side of the world at the age of 15. He moved over to England to play professional football. So that's what you
cool.
do. So you do that, but, you know, then you leave home at 15. So
yeah.
I moved to the US and he was in the UK the whole time. Now he's in Miami. But he started an 8-team fantasy football league because that was probably about how popular it was. I mean, not that it wasn't popular, but fantasy as a whole, like people probably watched the NFL. They just fantasy wasn't huge there.
Yeah,
now it's
growing.
Now it's freaking massive. Like the fan fest, they have all their, you know, a couple of guys. I'm still in a different league with a few of them, but they all turn up. And they'll sell out like every game that they put in the UK. 110,000. Go to the fan fest. They'll get 100,000 every day at a fan fest. Easy. Like it's a no-brainer why they're in the UK, but it was an 8-team standard scoring league.
Oh wow!
And it was brutal because like I was the last person to join. I joined the day before the draft. I didn't know what the draft was. No one explained it. I auto drafted. Now, for those that play different fantasy sports, so if you're a soccer / football person, you're playing Premier Manager or Football Manager, and if you're playing Aussie Rules or NRL back home, which is 2 different types of footy, you're playing Super Coach. Now, when your free agency pools are there, they're hypothetically just for you.
Oh.
So when I started, I think the first week I auto drafted because I didn't know any players. I didn't know anything. I know what a quarterback is because like you've seen posters of players somewhere.
Yeah.
Like back home at that point, we're only getting 1 game a year, and that was really the Super Bowl. So your awareness is pretty much nothing. Maybe I just caught on late. It doesn't really matter. So I just thought the waiver wire was all mine.
Yeah.
So like I'm dropping Calvin Johnson and Antonio Brown for Mikel Leshaw and Marcel Reese because they punched in touchdowns week 1. so I don't know. So like the next week I see these guys that I dropped to my waiver wire pool are on someone else's team, and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Like, you know, my brother's the commissioner of this league, and he's like, yeah, no, you're not meant to drop them. I'm like, look, hypothetically, I should have done my research and found out what fantasy football was before agreeing to join. But I really feel like if you did your due diligence, you would have maybe wisened me up to this sort of thing.
Especially as my brother, right?
Yeah, like kind of give me the leg up. Like, hey man, you probably shouldn't have dropped them. I'm putting them back in your team. First offense, first week. You've never, you know. Yeah. Maybe just give your boy like give us a pass for the first week because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really care either. I was like, look, you needed an extra person. I filled in. Yeah. And then I just, like the rest of you degenerates, just sunk. Sunk. So it is what it is.
Is that first league still going?
I don't know. I don't care. No. I got kicked out of that league for all sorts of shenanigans. I will say this, I'm of the belief that you cannot break a law if it is not known. I'm of that belief. That's where I'm at. So might have made some trades that were a little bit shaky, and then the commissioner might have backtracked on those trades after the season, which screwed up my future drafts. And I might have had a few things to say to him, that commissioner / brother. And then I might have reached out to a few people that had complained to him and had a few words to them. And then they might have unanimously kicked me up pretty quickly. And I haven't spoken to them in a few years. Lovely people, but, just let the trade stand. Team no veto, right? That's what we're about. Team no veto.
Veto is only for collusion.
Yeah, that's it. And this was clearly not collusion. I punted my season because I had like every player that wasn't injured was a superstar, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not making the playoffs. I'll trade it to the guy who's never won the league before. I'll pick up a few picks over the next couple of years. Bob's your uncle. I was essentially playing Dynasty in a redraft league, and they weren't having it. And I tried to pull them along to this side of the game, and they were like, "No, you can't do that." But like, on the app, NFL.com, Fantasy, that was the platform they used at the time. Yeah. It said, "Do you allow future pick trading?" And the answer was yes. That's all I'm saying. But like, also, hang on, this is also a thing.
It's not Dynasty.
No, it was rewind. It was like a redraft league that was allowing these sorts of things. But then it gets even worse. I was like, why did you allow him to win the league after those trades had happened? Let him play the whole season, and then cancel this trade like a week before the draft. This makes zero sense. Like, you've absolutely stitched me up here. Like, I can't do anything with this. So, that week really went pretty quickly and not well for me. So that's okay. They're now, ironically, turning into a dynasty league. Go figure. So
naturally.
Yeah, like, well, what are you going to do? I can't, if the horse doesn't want water,
Yeah.
So, maybe they're a dynasty league now. Maybe I don't know what they're doing. I think they're still going on. Maybe they're not.
Who cares? You're not in it, right?
I don't care. No. Every now and again, my brother will ask me like a real commissioner type question. And it's like, why are you asking me, man? Like, if it's not pertaining to my league, what's going on?
Yeah.
So like, there's no real reason for them to do it otherwise. But most of them are good guys. They'll fine. But, imagine vetoing a trade 6 months later. Like, that's just
that's not cool.
What are you doing here? What are we doing?
Okay, so I don't know about you, Dan, but I'm in way too many leagues.
Yeah.
I've cut back, but I'm still probably in way too many. So this is how I frame this question. Say you're maxed out on leagues. You can only add one more league in, but it's got to be your favorite settings. What are those settings?
So we're going to have a problem tonight because you've dropped the F word in here.
Favorite?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a favorite anything. I'm way too neutral. Look, there are a few things that I think should be necessary.
Okay.
I hate, and I'm not saying that this is a message for Ryan Searfoss. I'm not saying that Ryan should be listening to this, but anyone that plays with median scoring can go kick rocks. It is the pits. It is not needed. It is the worst thing I've ever played with. I've done it once in his IDP Dynasty League, and it might have cost me a playoff berth. Now, I'm not saying that if it happens once, it's going to happen every time. I would never suggest that. But it is the worst. And any league that has it needs to stop. All right? Enough of it. Just kill it. But there are certain things that I kind of like. I think in some capacity, every league should have some form of IDP.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
3 players.
You're talking about some of the highest paid players in the league that are being grouped together by a botched up DST setting based off special teams points and kick returns and all that sort of garbage. So I kind of find that some leagues have DST settings that are fine and whatever, but I think even so, you could probably get away with getting a couple positions of IDP in there. Like, I think that's the way to go. But in terms of like PPR or point per or premiums or whatever, man, like, it's
okay.
The world's too small to just say this is the way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having a few things in there, which I think, IDP, I think over the past few years has started to come over a little bit more to the mainstream, which is great. And I think people should be doing that a little bit, sprinkle it in. But I'll try anything, man. I haven't done C2C. I haven't really done Devi. But whatever. I don't care. I'll give it all a go.
For 1 QB or Superflex?
Don't care. As long as the settings make sense for that league, then I don't really. It doesn't bother me. Like
Yeah.
if you're in like a 20-team league, Superflex makes zero sense. But you'll see someone try to do it, and it's kind of getting cute for the sake of cute. Alternatively, you could be in a 10-team league which has like 3 flex positions and not 1 Superflex, or it's not 2 QB, which makes no sense. As long as the settings make sense for that individual league and that type, then I don't really care. I'll give it a go, but it's as long as the people you're in the league with are enjoyable. Like I just left a couple leagues and they weren't enjoyable. It was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't want to be in this league. We don't talk. There's no interaction. There's no trading. There's no nothing. And the settings of the league could be fine, but nothing else was. So what's the point?
Yeah. No, I actually respect that a lot. And that's typically why I will leave a league is like, if it's not active, people are not the most enjoyable, et cetera. Like, I'm out. Like, I'll give it a shot, even if it's like, and I hate leaving dynasty leagues, but like, even like if it's not fun for you, get out. Like, just leave.
Yeah, again, like it's got to make sense. If the settings are fine, but the people aren't, people make the league, right? You want to be with people that you enjoy and have some fun with your talks and trades, and a lot of respect with everyone that does. But in some leagues, it's just, when you're hearing crickets on an online app, it's probably not a good sign. So, as long as the settings are fine, I'd like to try a little bit of everything. We'll give it a go. But if it doesn't make sense, the settings don't make sense for the amount of people that are in it, and then you can kind of sniff out what's probably not going to be sustainable over a year or two's time.
All right, so I got to ask you about one of my favorite settings. Have you played tiered PPR?
I know of it. It's kind of like staggered scoring, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
There's two types. So there's tiered by position, where like running backs get a half a point, wide receivers get a point, and then tight ends get like a point and a half.
I've done that before, and like I get it. But then again, like some running backs are out producing, like the top 15 running backs are out producing, wide receiver 35 through whatever. Yeah. So then it kind of, where are we at? But I get it. Tiered like that's fine. Again, if it makes sense for that league.
Yeah.
There was another one with yards, right?
Yeah. So tiered by distance, that's what I love. So what that is like 0 to 4 is like half a point. 5 to 9 is like 0.75. 10 to 19 is 1. 20 to 29 is like 1.5, and it kind of goes up fractionally with the distance of it.
That just sounds like a lot of math. like again,
you don't have to do the math, because I'll be the commissioner and I'll set it up.
I feel like anytime someone says that you don't have to do the math, there's always more math than you'd anticipate. And I'm not going to lie to you, Shane. I think you're lying to me. No, I get it. So I get it. Like, so it's based on yards per. So I get it. Like,
yeah.
And I get it. Like, there's some guys. I think it was, who was it? Jarvis Landry a few years ago. He might have been going nowhere, but he had 187 like targets.
Yeah.
The math isn't right. I'm just guessing, but he had a lot, but he went nowhere. He might have had sub 1,000. So, I get it. Why give that guy the benefit of the doubt because of the full reception when he kind of just caught it and fell down? So I understand, reward those who are making bigger plays. No, it makes sense.
Yep.
And it also compensates, right? So if you've got a guy like, let's say Deshaun Jackson, because I know his receptions aren't going for 5 yards, right? So, he catches 3 receptions over 20 yards a pop. That almost compensates for the lack of receptions he's getting it all the way up. So I get it. That's
exactly.
I understand. It's different. Again, there's a lot of different settings out there, and vampire leagues and
guillotine leagues,
and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, like if you can keep up with it and your understanding of what it is, like there's nothing worse than joining a league and someone goes, "Hey, what are the rules again?" So it's like, oh, really? Yeah, we're doing. So you're that guy, right? Okay.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Next question is: when did you start making content for fantasy football?
So we just discovered this a few weeks ago. I'm going for Two's longest contributor other than Brad Berryman, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd say that might have been 2017. maybe, but I started with the Back Row Fantasy Show prior to going for 2. So, yeah, I was working with them then. They're no longer really about. They might be making a comeback. They might not be. Doesn't matter if they do. They were a great live show. They were fantastic, but they weren't really into articles and all that sort of stuff. So, not their thing. Great live show though. It was hilarious. I had a great time. All fun. Good listen. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, about 2017.
Okay. What made you start producing content?
I was bored. I was so bored with life. I hated life, mate. No, there was a lot of things that were going on. I had a job that I felt stale with.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I felt, mate, I've been doing it for a long time. It was the same, hypothetically, same industry, same career, roughly for about 17 years. So I could feel myself getting stale. Self-reflection in a job based on motivation is something you need to do quite frequently. I also had my first kid as well. You know, there were little things going on that I could kind of feel myself not really, how do I say it? I wasn't winning an internal battle. I didn't feel like I was getting myself out there enough, or my voice or just my words or anything. I just really didn't feel like I was contributing to whatever. You know, you can change diapers and all that sort of stuff, but you really lose control of your life once you have your first kid. So it was just an outlet at one point to do something for me. Because a lot of people can lash out and they can go on benders and they go do stupid things, or they get caught. And this was just a way for me to stay home while everyone was asleep and get on a laptop and start punching out words. And it was just something. And I didn't care if I was right. I didn't care if I was wrong. It was something to yeah, it was. And it was just really something like that. It wasn't even, I don't think I really got into like streaming, podcasting really until about a year or so ago.
Okay. It
wasn't really something I really was interested in doing. But it turns out that it's much easier than writing. So I've dialed back on the writing quite a lot. And yeah, it's one of those things. But it was, you know, at that time, it was just a way for me to kind of keep my nose clean and do something that interested me without causing problems at work or causing things at home. It wasn't anything that really anything I really wanted to. It was, and also I just fell into it, and that's how it started, and that's what it was. But it was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, Jay is in the chat, and he says podcasting is much easier than writing.
Jay knows. Jay knows. Jay got out quicker than I did, and you know. Jay's doing show sheets for about 187 different podcasts, mate. He knows. He's still writing. He just hasn't figured it out
yet. Awesome.
Hi, Jay.
So, Dan, do you remember what your first piece of content was for fantasy football?
I think I do. For going for 2, so it was, my articles were, when you first start writing, you're trying to find any sort of template to wrap your brain around. So the first article for going for 2 was called Pros and Cons. We laugh about it now because they're about 5,000 words an article. No one told me not to write 5,000 words in an article. But I did that for about 3.5 years. It wasn't great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we're talking but here's the thing: we're also talking about in season. We're punching about 5,000 a week on one article, and that article disappears pretty quick. So you get really upset about that. But that was on Brandon Cooks. I think the first article for going for 2 was on Brandon Cooks, a pros and cons about him. And it might have been post-trade. He might have gone to New England, or it might have been to the Rams. I can't remember. But the other one for the Back Row Fantasy Show
started in 2017, right?
Yeah, give or take. It was around then. I was born 2016.
Google stats.
It's not that important. Yeah. And the other one I wrote for the Back Row Fantasy Show, effectively, and I don't want anybody to make assumptions about what I'm saying here, but we'll say that it was about Kirk Cousins getting a guaranteed deal and everyone somehow gratuitously thanking him, really thanking him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that wasn't as big of a deal as
No,
what people made it out to be. Because you look at what, whether he's lying or whatever he's attracting, whatever drama he's attention grabbing from like today's signing, say Aaron Rodgers. We're not talking about a deal that was 158 million guaranteed like we were then.
Yeah.
Like Cousins for me really changed the game in terms of what he was. We're talking quarterbacks. It was like however they structured them, but this was like, nah, it's 3 years and you're getting this much and that's it.
Yeah, it was the first totally guaranteed contract.
I still feel like that was. I feel like that was very over. I feel like it's overlooked about how that changed the landscape of contracts and how they get done. Because say you're a guy like Lamar Jackson and him and his mum or his agent, he's probably going to want to get more guaranteed money up front. Whereas an agent itself might want to stretch it out over a period of time. Like that's how you can look at it in that degree. Or quarterbacks who are aging. You look at Aaron Rodgers. Why does he care about a 5-year, 6-year deal? Why would he care? Like it makes no sense. So in terms of that, yeah. So people maybe thanking Kirk Cousins a little bit more. I'm not even a Kirk. I don't care about Kirk Cousins. He's fine, but
he's criminally underrated in fantasy. Not in real football, but in fantasy, he does surprisingly well.
He's fine. He's fine. He gives me that like Andy Dalton vibe when Dalton was on fire with the Bengals. Yeah. Like every now and again, like, oh wow, he got a 30 burger out of Dalton, but like next week -12, and you're like, what happened? Where did this happen? How'd you get -12 against the Lions? What happened? What are we doing here? So I think those were I'm pretty sure they were the first 2 articles I wrote. Nice. Back row would have been first, but Jeff didn't tell me for like 3 years. Don't write that much. He didn't tell me. I was like, hey man, I feel like I've got to adapt the article. He goes, yeah, you should. I'm like, what? Thanks. Yeah, well done, mate. Good job. Thanks, Jeff. He goes, yeah, I didn't want to edit that anyway. He goes, yeah, it was 5,000 words. Like, I know you didn't want to edit it. I didn't want to edit it.
All right. This question, I cannot wait for the answer. What is your favorite thing about the fantasy football community?
There's that F word again, mate. Favorite thing about the fantasy community?
I can give you a B word.
Yeah, what is it?
What's the best thing about the fantasy community?
Everyone says the same thing. It's like, man, it's such a good place to go and get your pick-me-up and we're all together. I'm here for the shits and giggles, mate. I don't care. I'm here for the drama. I want to see people just fighting constantly. How about that? You guys can go to the expo and then 3 days later, fights. Like everyone's just on each other. And I'm just sitting there. I don't care. Like I got a job and kids. I'm fairly secure with my life. I'm pretty happy. But no, you guys just want to hate each other. And I just sit there going, my God. I'll tell you when it all started going downhill as well. It started happening when we went to 280 characters. That's when everything first started turning to shit. Like everything started turning to shit when people decided they had a say. No, 140 characters was like, here's a link to my article, 1 or 2 hashtags, cheers. Now it's like 18 different freaking threads. Like, no, you don't need that. And then people want to argue per article. Everything gets upset. And here I am just sitting there watching what happened today. Every day. It's like entertainment for me. I just find it mind-blowing that people can get so upset about nothing.
About a game?
It's not even that. Shane, what lineup are you setting this week? People are getting mad anyway. Like, I don't really have to worry about this until like September. No, this is like non-existent time for people to not care about things. No, we're just going to get super mad at each other and just do this for the next 5 months. I'm here for that. I want to see this place burn. And I'm just all about it. And look, people can then say something like this. Well, Reddit's bad. No, but the thing is, Reddit's not under any pretense that it isn't a pile of shit. Reddit knows it's a bad place to be. And if you can hang in Reddit like longer than a week, you probably belong there too. But Twitter, like people are uber nice, but nah, they're super mad at each other. And I just like watching. Is that the answer? I would bet you've had 15, 20 guests? I would bet 75% wanted to give that answer.
But you're the first one. to
I'll do it.
actually answer
I'll
it
do
that
it.
way.
I'll step up to the plate.
I love it.
No,
question-
but in all fairness, yeah. aside from Jay, no, I actually find people quite funny. I drama aside, I just sometimes you just see things you're like, man, that's brilliant. People don't understand their brilliance as well. I think that's the side of it. Like, there's a couple of people out there. I just read some of their work, and I'm like, that's brilliant. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, you should be like applying this amazing skill you have of like learning and attention, and apply it to something that gets you paid well. Because you should be. Like, what are you doing this for? Go the moose, commute, go find something better with your life because you are better than this. And I just find it amazing. Yeah. I'm amazed at the amount of times that, but like, people are great. Obviously, like we can reflect back to, we'll say Tags, everything that happened with him and how everyone just went, like, they dropped their shit and said, Tags is the man, and we're going to get behind him and his family. That part of this community will always live, and that's amazing. That's amazing too. And they're very quick to call people out, but they're also very quick to jump to their aid as well. And that that's cool. But man, I'm here for the problems, mate. I don't care. I don't care. What are they going to do? Oh, boo this man. I don't care. I'm just going to mute my phone and go back to work. It's not. What am I going to care? Yeah. I don't care. It's fun.
Jay has a question for us from the chat. Are you fine gentlemen coming to the expo this year? Are you going, Dan?
No, I can't. No, I can't. I missed last year. We had some family issues with a sick family member, which was a shame. Mm-hmm. And that kind of escalated quickly, Jay. This year, there's what's that thing that's been happening? COVID. That COVID thing that's happened. Obviously, my family, they're on the other side of the world, and they haven't been able to see their grandkids for about 3 years now, which is crazy. Some people...
That sucks.
Yeah, some people don't want to drive 20 minutes to see their family, but, my family's on the other side of the world, and they've missed out on their grandkids. I've got two kids, a 5 and a 3-year-old, and they haven't seen them in 3 years nearly. So they're coming out. Cool. When the expo's on, I'll be in...
Of course.
Where did I go? I booked Mexico. So we're going to Mexico while the expo's on. Yeah. I mean, I could go to Canton, Ohio.
Or you can go to Mexico.
I could go to Cancun, get myself abs. I could just get messed up. I mean, I might not see him. We'll see what happens. If I do it right, I won't, but I will be in Mexico for that. I believe, if my dates are right or wrong. I don't know if I'd go anyway, mate. Ohio seems like a bit of a hassle. I remember last year, everyone was complaining about how much the flights cost to get out to Canton. I was like, why would I do that? Yeah. Like, why would I pay that much money for that? Yeah. For Canton? No, I'm kidding. Bob Lung I love, and he's fantastic. And it looks like the expo was freaking amazing, and I wish I could go. Obviously, there's a lot of going for 2 representation there, and the DynastyRewind, who I also contribute for, they're there as well, and they had a ball. And I'm sure it'll be fun and everyone will get on the lash and enjoy each other. But if my family weren't stuck, if people haven't noticed, Australia's been quite strict with their COVID laws. Yeah. They've been pretty bad. Not in terms of like the day-to-day stuff. I'm talking like just travel restrictions. It was like 45,000 Australians stranded overseas at one point. They wouldn't let them in.
Oh, wow.
It was mind-blowing. It was just like, no, we're not letting you in. You stay there. And then you have to quarantine 2 weeks at a hotel of their choice, which you have to pay for. So it was like, all right. So, yeah, it was some of their things. But then, they let sporting teams into the country on the low. And you're like, what's going on? We can't even go to the game. We can't go to the game to watch the sporting event because it's behind like closed doors.
The restrictions are too strict.
So like, why are we even bringing them out here? This is just madness. So, it's kind of weird how they operated, and they finally lifted those embargoes on them getting out, which is great. So I'll see my family for the first time in a few years, and
awesome.
It's just a shame. I joke a lot, really. I'm sure the expo is fun, and I'm sure everyone's lovely.
Jay, I'll get back to you on that. We can talk about it offline.
That's a no.
All right. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself outside of fantasy football. You already mentioned you got 2 kids. You're clearly Australian. What's your day job? Do you have any pets? You've got
I
a
got
drum kit behind you.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
do.
tell us
I
about you?
don't know. How did they get there? Yeah, they aren't mine. What are they doing there? Yeah, so I got a dog. I got a couple of kids. I got a wife. We're all great. We're all happy. Everything's good.
Awesome.
I was working in the health and fitness industry for 17 years, and now I am working for the family business. We moved from Dallas back to New York
Okay.
to take care of a family member that's no longer with us. But in doing so, that took up a lot of hours and time, and it was fine. I'd do it all over again, and I wouldn't complain. I'm not complaining now, but like the hours to run your own business while doing that just wasn't. It wasn't the right decision. So I decided to work for the family business. They're in the jewelry industry, which is
Okay.
this guy. I'm in the jewelry industry. That's
That's
all things fine and fancy. I'm leading the way, mate. Yeah, we have a business in the Diamond District in Manhattan, and
cool.
yeah, we basically supply with the largest supplier of jewelry, tools, chemicals, and all that to all those independent jewelers, big jewelers, so like your David Yurmans and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We supply to them to make sure they can provide the greatest product available. In doing so, I end up getting chemical highs most days, and that's at times, mate. They're like, "Hey, you should have worn a mask." I'm like, at the time they're telling me before I open this, you've had 35 years of experience. I've been here for like a year, and you didn't tell me that this product needed a mask, and now we're gonna have ourselves a day. So that happens a fair bit. So yeah, it's interesting, but currently trying to learn Spanish as well. That's
Very cool.
Yes, it is. I find that
Hablo poquito español.
no, I'm not saying that. I know what happens when people tell me to say things in Spanish and it doesn't end up well.
I speak a little Spanish.
Yeah, you can say that. I don't believe you. But that's one of those things. It turns out I might be hard to understand to those who don't understand English that great. So instead of having 8 or 9 people adapt to me, I'd rather just learn Spanish and just get on with it. It's just easier this way. Because if it wasn't a day, and this is prior to coming back to New York, if there wasn't a day when someone just gave me that deadpan look, and like they give me that look, what did he say? Every day. Every day. And I'm talking like 10 years, at least once or twice a day. And like they do they hone in a little bit. And you're like, oh man, I just said hello. Like it's not that hard, So I just figured I'd just get on and just start learning other languages. So that's the sort of thing. But yeah, pretty quiet, mate. Stay out of trouble.
I like it.
Stay out of trouble.
Any hobbies outside of fantasy football and learning Spanish?
Fantasy football is the hobby. I think that's where we all have a little bit of problem with this, right? So people need to come back a little bit. It's a hobby. It's a bit of fun, unless you're getting paid, Jeff. But it's one of those things where
give that gift. You guys are getting paid?
Yeah, I give him so much grief. It's like he goes, "Oh, I give you so much." But I don't care. What do I care? I don't want your money. I think we like to travel a little bit. We're a traveling family. We try to go to as many places as we can a year. So we've done what do we do? We just did Dallas a few weeks ago. We've got the Bahamas coming up, Mexico coming up, I think Nashville coming up.
Nice.
And I feel like we could be doing Switzerland or Iceland for New Year's-ish.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, one of those two places. I feel like I'm going to lose that battle. It's going to be Switzerland. I can already feel it.
Happy wife, right?
Ah, man, you got to, because the thing is, if I just agree to that, I'll just keep writing articles, and I don't want to do that. So sometimes you got to start the fight. Got to have your say in there. You can't be a pushover, Shane. You got to kind of work your way in there a little bit. But no, I think Switzerland feels like that's where she wants to go this time. So
cool.
Yeah, so I think we're a bit of a traveling family. I'm a soccer guy first over American football, and then I'm a rugby guy over American football.
Nice.
And then Aussie rules over American football.
Do you have an EPL team that you choose?
I do. Yeah, I believe I'm a third generation Man United supporter.
Okay.
Now I know that's a hot topic.
When you say third generation, like that means going on when it was like Rooney and Ronaldo and all the hot people coming through.
I was trained by a guy, so most people wouldn't know him. There was a guy who played for Man United years ago. His name was Norman Whiteside. Now, this guy was a legendary, I don't want to get it wrong, but I believe he was Northern Irish. He was a striker, and he was like the youngest ever goal scorer at that point, Norman. And he was, I was a striker at the time when I was a kid. The older I got, the further back I went. But he was a guy that spent some time with us back in Australia. He'd turn up so like, even if I wasn't, like, I was just infatuated with how he went about his process. You could see it, like, where his foot goes, body shape, body movement, how he transfers weight to one side. You could see things, and like, even if I was only a young kid and I could like say, okay, well, my dad likes United, so I'm a United guy. I could see from him that he was taught so well, it was hard to not appreciate what he learned. So how could that be wrong to like what he does? So
yeah, absolutely.
But my older brother's a Liverpool fan, and so we've had that going on. We've had that rivalry going on for the best part.
You and I can hate on your older brother together.
Oh yeah, no, it's not much. Why? Who do you back in?
Tottenham.
Why?
I love Harry Kane. That's literally it.
Oh, wait, Harry Kane. You got 4 more months of enjoying him, mate. He's gone, and then you're left with a team that just doesn't care. It's like the equivalent of like. Well, no, it makes sense. You're a Brown supporter, right? So, like it makes sense that you support the Spurs. I get it. Sure. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, they're okay. Look, their new stadium is going to be an attraction, to say the least. And if they can,
they just got to put somebody in there to put people in seats.
They need to go. They need to go sell Harry Kane, and they need to make as much money of him as possible, and just buy a boatload of players. That's it. Just build around that. They got a good coach in charge. They have a good coach. Conte is a very good coach, and if they can give him money, he'll bring the right people in. But that's
no. I agree with you on Conte a lot, actually.
No, he's a little crazy, but you have to be like coaches at the top. You got to be something wrong with you. So my team doesn't have a coach right now, so they're terrible to watch. But I'm at that age now, like fandom for all things. I don't care if something's entertaining, I'll watch it. If I don't care what team, like West Ham look good at the moment, Southampton look good at the moment. Like if they're on, I don't necessarily have to watch United the next day. I don't care. I'll just if there's something that looks entertaining, I'll catch it. Like I don't have the time management skills now to deal with that.
Gotcha. All right. Are you ready for rapid fire, where I'm about to throw a lot of F words at you?
A lot of F bombs. All right.
You ready? Ready as you'll ever be?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Favorite NFL team?
By location, I am a New York Giants fan, but I probably like 8 or 9 other teams more. So
you get my fandom for 3 teams. All right, we're gonna move on.
I don't care. Oh no, the Giants, they're bad. Yeah, okay. Well, who else is playing? Show me something that's exciting. Come on, get on with it.
You kind of just answered this, but favorite sport that's not football?
Anything else? Like soccer's great. Aussie rules. Rugby, international rugby is underrated. Those guys are mental. Club rugby is okay if you're watching European stuff. Not so high on the Super 14s back home. I think it's still 14s, but club rugby, maybe the Heineken Cup's all right, but international rugby, like when the World Cups or nations come on, it is just different. Those guys they're ridiculous. Well, they're animals. I couldn't do it.
All right, favorite food?
Oh man, it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Pick one.
I don't. There's nothing. Like it's all the same. Like it's all sustenance, mate. I don't have a favorite food. What day is it? I had a turkey burger tonight. It was fine. Like I'm not gonna favorite food. But see, like for me, like it depends where I am.
Okay, that's fair.
Like if I'm in Dallas, like there's a burger joint that's untouchable. It's a Maple and Motor burger, fine. But like if I'm in Italy, like Whatever's in Italy. If I'm in England, it's England. If it's New York, it's whatever. So wherever I am, that's what it is.
Okay.
But the last place I was at was Dallas, and like I had a burger that was Maple and Motor. If you're in Dallas, it's on Maple Avenue. Maple and Motor burgers are ridiculous. They're like that.
I will accept that answer. That is a good answer, actually.
It's the only answer. I told you I don't have a favorite anything. So what's your next favorite?
Favorite sports movie?
I don't like movies.
Then we're skipping the next question.
But I saw the show sheet and I found one for you. Okay. It's not my favorite, but it is a sports movie.
Okay.
I think Space Jam's pretty good.
Okay, I'll take that.
Not the new one. That's
no.
Basura Caliente. There we go.
C.
There we go. Basura Caliente.
Favorite non-sports movie then?
I told you, mate. I don't watch anything anymore.
Space Jam 2.
No. I took the time to read your show sheet. I should come up with a proper answer. I tell you what, you guys, you wouldn't have seen it out here. There was a movie back home. It must be about 20 years old. It's just, I find it hilarious. Yeah. It's about a guy called Mark Chopper Reed. The movie's called Chopper. Mark Chopper Reed was one of our most. We'll just say he was a bad guy, and it was a movie about him, and it was. I found it hilarious.
Yeah.
Eric Bana, if you know Eric Bana, maybe.
I should know that name.
Yeah, you've seen him in things, man. He's in a lot of things. He played Chopper, and it's.
Okay.
To be honest, it's funny. In the first 5 minutes, he shaves his ears off with a pair of clippers. Like, it's just.
Oh,
great.
sweet Jesus!
But wait. The fix came in. He found out that he was getting whacked in jail. So he shaved his ears off and got moved to another ward. They thought he was crazy. That's a true, but that's a true story. Also a true story. Same man went on to become one of Australia's greatest ever children's book writers. How about that? One of the biggest sociopaths in Australia wrote the best children's books. Amazing.
That's incredible.
That'll help you go to sleep.
Favorite band?
No. You're talking all time, right? There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Or right now.
No. I'll get my iTunes open. What's the... My wife bought tickets to the Foo Fighters, and I haven't seen them in 20 years, so I still don't even know if they're any good.
They're still good.
Yeah, So I refused to see them again because, you know, the Skin and Bones tour they did like 20 years ago?
No, because I was 5.
How old are you?
27. So I was probably 2.
Wow, that's devastating. So they did like an acoustic series, a CD. It's called Skin and Bones, and it was when Pat Smear returned. And they did like an acoustic set. And they traveled the world, but they only went to a few places. Sydney was one. I saw them at the Opera House. I haven't seen them since then because they're not going to top that.
Yeah,
so why bother?
That makes a lot of sense.
The last album I got was Amiel and the Sniffers, and then from that, I don't know. I don't have anything that's a favorite. If it sounds good, it's probably good. Right. That's where I'm at. I don't care. If it sounds good, it's fine.
All right. You ready for another F word?
Yeah. You ready for a non-answer? I gotta give you another non-answer. I don't have one.
Favorite adult beverage?
It doesn't matter. It just depends. What are you eating?
Okay.
So what are you eating?
Wings.
Wings? Probably want something to complement that. Beer, I don't feel goes great with wings. I'd say margarita goes with wings a bit better.
See, I like wings and beer, but I
no. I'm not saying that it's bad.
Yeah.
But I find something a little bit sweeter to go with the heat. That's what I tend to lean with. Unless I'm going with a sweet wing, and then I'll go with something a bit savory like beer. You see where I am? And that's the problem I have. Do you know what I mean? Tonight,
no, that totally makes sense.
I'm on a local whiskey. That's where I'm on tonight.
What are you drinking tonight?
It's the Hudson whiskey. It's a Hudson whiskey. That's it. That's all I need to know. I don't know. It just depends where I am and where I'm at. It goes that way. I don't have a favorite thing for that. It just I told you this is going to be awfully difficult for you. I just don't.
Hey, look, I'm in sales. I can figure out a way to ask a question to get the answer out of you some way or another.
Yeah, no. Again, like it just depends on where I'm at. That's the problem.
Okay.
I don't
Say
mind
you're
a
in
tequila.
Italy. This is going to sound so stereotypical. You're in Italy eating pasta. What are you drinking?
Wine. What sort of
Red or
pasta
white?
though? Well, it depends what the pasta is. Is it a white? Is it a white pasta? Is it a red base? Like these are the things that go with these sorts of questions. You can't just say, "Yeah, no, I'm going to have a red wine with like, an Alfredo." That doesn't make sense at all because that would make you sick. So I wouldn't do that. But it depends. Like if we're doing a show, I'll grab whatever I'm feeling at the time. Like the last show I did was Super Bowl week with Jeff and Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I was drinking gin for no reason. It didn't matter. Tonight it's whiskey. It just doesn't matter. I don't have a preference on anything, man. Why box yourselves in? Once you say that's your favorite, that's what you've got. And I don't want to go down like that.
That's fair.
You still haven't asked me about my pineapple pizza.
Oh, no, I haven't. You know what? We're going to – okay. I'm going to skip these next two questions.
No. Let's hear them. I don't want to get straight from the show street.
Favorite TV show?
I don't have one. I don't like TV. American TV is garbage. Fight.
I'm not gonna fight you. Like
everyone else does.
I don't care. Like to me,
listen, I'm not gonna pretend like the Encanto things weren't popping up underneath before. I saw them, Jay. I saw them. I can't pretend like you're gonna get off the hook with that. Disney Twitter coming after me. I don't need those sorts of things. Why would I want that?
What's funny, before we hopped on the show, Dan?
Bluey. There you go. Love Bluey.
Bluey's phenomenal.
I resonate with Bandit way too much.
Yep. Favorite actor?
Actor or actress?
I have actor, but I don't care which one.
It's International Women's Day. We got a
actress then.
Let's shout some love out to the women. Trying to think of the last movie I saw. Oh, man, it's a tough one. I really pigeonholed myself on that one. So this is why I don't like favorite anything. Sandra Bullock's pretty awesome. She's very versatile.
Absolutely. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, you can when she's meant to be serious, you can kind of get on that level, but when she's funny, she's as comical as ever. Same with what's her name? Oh, I'm dying here. I'm gonna remember the name. I know you're gonna laugh once. No, I've got this. Hang on.
Okay.
It's the same act. Salma Hayek, same thing.
Yeah.
When she's meant to be serious, like you sit there and you can hone in on that. But like when she's funny, it's just the funniest thing. She'll steal the screen. That's the thing. Yeah. So one of those two, Sandra Bullock, Salma Hayek, very funny, very serious when they have to be. But shout out to International Women's Day. I feel like I might be the wrong person to be on your show today, Shane. Huh?
I didn't think about it ahead of time.
I'm here to give you grief.
This one, it's a two-parter, so that should help you with your whole. There's context that always matters.
On Twitter?
No,
context doesn't matter on Twitter.
There's never context on Twitter. Favorite defensive player right now and all time?
All time?
Yep.
All time, I'm going to give you a split answer because it was when I first started watching. You got to understand. Yeah. And again, the context is I never really watched it before I came to America. In the first year that I watched football, the Giants won a Super Bowl. So you end up watching a little bit more than what you should. The first two plays from that, obviously Lawrence Taylor's a guy that I didn't even see him play. So I have no idea. But I remember Justin Tuck was a guy that I thought was a leader. And you could see that, and everyone followed where he went. Everything he did, they followed. And I like people that have strong skills when it comes to sport. So Man United's my team. Roy Keane was my favorite player. Same sort of thing like that. You see what I mean? Yeah. But in that team as well was a kid, might have been his first or second year. It was a guy called Jason Pierre-Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just terrifying. I remember watching him it might have been when he was a rookie. I went, he can't be that good that age. It was, and you just watch him go, I don't want to be anywhere near that guy on a field. I would be terrified.
And then he blew his hand off with fireworks.
Hey, when in America, blow your hand up. If you don't blow your hand up on July 4th, you've done it wrong. That's how Twitter is, right?
Roll Tide.
Yeah, you did it. Oh, was he? Oh, he was an Alabama guy, was he?
No, I'm from Alabama. I'm just making fun of him.
Someone's blowing something up. But yeah, so those guys probably were the first two that I went, oh boy, like this is how these guys are, one was based on leadership and wow, like people will do what he says and people will follow him. And they had a team. I feel like Strahan might have been at the back end. There was Ossie and all those sorts of guys.
Yeah.
They had a pretty stack. Pierce was there as well. They were pretty amazing. But JPP also, just for the flashiness, was just, I just remember watching that going, okay. Now, defensive guys, it's hard to say. Obviously I'll keep with the Giants thing. I like what Logan Ryan brings to the team. I think he's a good leader. Again, leadership sort of a thing, and you can see what he brings to an organization. And you can see how it's going to be really good this year to see how him and Xavier McKinney come along. That'll be interesting to see that dynamic. But, there's other guys, like I could say, like anyone that hits hard and all that sort of thing. Like you can get fun things from that. Fred Warner's amazing. Long down in Tennessee, I remember this year was pretty amazing as well. Like there are a lot of guys that you watch. Olakun out of Atlanta, when he plays, he always does something. Mm-hmm. He always does something interesting. So guys like that, I find CJ Mosley before he went to like the Jets.
Yeah,
I hope he rebounds. I don't care for the Jets, whatever. But like Mosley, like when he was he was having moments out there that was pretty amazing. Soundbite, you can cut this and just say TJ Watt. Whatever works, man. Like, I don't care. Xavier Howard, like when he plays, you just sit there going, like, that's the trade I want to happen. I want them to send Barkley to Miami and bring in Xavier Howard. Like, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I think he's great. Anyone that does their job.
Both teams win that trade. If you ask me.
Can't be that hard, right? We need guys that can play man and they need a running back. Why? We got Martindale now. He's just going to blitz, and we need guys that can play man, and I think Howard's the guy to do that. So, anyone that can do that. You look at the Tampa linebackers, you could watch them all day. You don't even have to watch what else is going on. Those guys are just animals. So
they are.
Yeah, they're great. So, anyone that does things at a high level continuously, I will take the time out to watch and appreciate, but it's fine.
Okay, last question, and then we'll talk about pineapple pizza.
Yeah.
Favorite offensive player? Same thing, right now and all time. Give me all time first.
So the easy all time answer is because, again, to catch my attention, I didn't know what the game was about. The first Giants player I ever saw that jumped off the page was a kid called Victor Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like I remember watching him going, "Oh wow!" Like he's an animal. I saw a game. I think it was the year they won it. It was week 17 against Dallas, and he took a 95-yarder to the house.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that going, like that's, Manning put it in the right spot, but he had to also do his job and get around a few people too. But, I remember watching that going, oh my God, he's an animal. And like, obviously I had no idea or comprehension of, late round picks, UDFAs, and what that meant for a guy like that to do that.
Yeah.
So that, but, my favorite player all time, I'd say a coin flip between Matt Forte and Jamal Charles.
Interesting.
And I say that again, like, I don't want to give you an answer like, yeah, my favorite guys from like 1990. I never watched that. I have no idea. Maybe it was Jerry Rice. Sure. Great. But Forte, I remember, was doing Christian McCaffrey things before it was cool.
Yeah.
And Jamal Charles could break one off for 50 in it on every play. Adrian Peterson was saying those running backs were a different breed. Like Peterson, 2012, 2013 was just.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how to, like, again, like I go from a game of finesse of soccer and you watch this and you're like, good Lord, even rugby, like, okay, but rugby's like 6 inches in front of your face. That's what it is. what Peterson was doing, but like Forte was he just looked different, man. There was something about him, how he played the receiving game, and he could go through the middle, go on the outside. I just thought he was complete, and I didn't really know what that meant. But the further removed from the game we are, I kind of feel like he might be one of the most underappreciated players that we've seen. Yeah, he had what, a 90, 95 reception. He went nuts or something like. He went. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna figure out.
I'm going to Google it right now.
No, we'll do it. I'm gonna do it. I got you, man.
Do it.
He went nuts one year. Where is he? Receiving. People forget about this. 102 receptions. 102 receptions.
Good Lord, yeah.
In 2014.
That's not that long ago either.
But that's what I'm saying. People don't look at that. They're like, oh, McCaffrey, this, Barkley, that. I'm like, Forte was doing it, and no one said anything. No one was
even Kamara too. Like you can throw him into that.
No one was talking about Matt Forte having 100 receptions in a year. No one. It doesn't happen. No one even brings his name up. It's like we're talking about like all these like PPR scorings and all that. It's like Matt Forte killed everyone in 2014. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like no one says it. No one says anything. And that might have been because guys like Adrian Peterson were about. Like that's the scary thing. But I think Forte then, I remember watching him go, man, he's different. I thought he was different. I could be wrong. I'm not a Bears fan. I don't really care. I thought how he played the game was good. But now my favorite player? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I like Mark Andrews.
Okay.
I think he's interesting to watch, but like when they aren't rolling, it's not because he's I like people that can change a game, and when he's quiet, they're kind of bad. Gronk, if he still counts, yeah. I still don't think anyone touches Gronk.
Yeah,
I don't care if Kelsey takes. Gronk to me will always be the number one tight end I'll ever see. I think.
Yeah,
it was a different animal, but anyone that does something, I told you before, anyone that does something special, I think's worthy of watching. I don't really have a favorite. It's hard. It's hard to say. I don't have a favorite anything, mate.
That's okay.
I've been pretty clear on that, I think.
You did.
Yeah.
You did, but I still feel like I got enough favorites out of you that
but nothing definitive. There's nothing definitive. Favorite is one.
Fair enough.
Favorites, if you had twisted it to favorites, you might have got away with this. Favorite's very unique and Uno on that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player? Baker Mayfield.
Okay. But we're talking like out of fantasy. You're talking like as an actual player.
Yeah.
He's someone. Yeah. Okay. I bet you get a lot of heat for that, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm indifferent. Like who you want to.
But all time, it's Peyton Manning, so I hope that makes up for it.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't care, man. Like who you want to like. It's just weird. People telling you, oh man, he's terrible. Yeah, maybe. Have you had to watch a Mike Glennon game before? Like Baker Mayfield ain't that. Mike Glennon.
Did you watch the Nathan Peterman game where he threw 5 interceptions in one half?
I had to sit through Joe Judge telling guys the quarterback sneak from their 5-yard line. Like, mate, what's wrong with Baker Mayfield? Is he that bad? Like, imagine that happening to him. He'd probably walk off the field. I don't know. Antonio Brown's pretty amazing when he plays. Forget like everything else. Like,
dude, that man is a walking case of CTE.
I don't want to say that, but look, he might be right. His ankles seem pretty messed up. Like, it would behoove him to not say my ankle is a mess, but jump off the field. Yeah. That's what I'd say. You're not helping your argument. That doesn't mean that painkillers didn't help him do that because he was able to play. Yeah. But I would say a guy like him, like, untouchable. Like, at times he was untouchable, and the trajectory that he was on
in redraft for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, like you could have him doing that. Like, I don't care if the guy's a little off his rocker. Like, it was an anomaly when he played, and you could watch that guy. You're not looking at his Twitter or his Instagram or his TikTok when he's playing. You're watching the guy do what he does best, and those guys, they're artists, man. Lionel Messi is an artist. He's an athlete, but the guy's an artist. Guys like Antonio Brown, they make it into something different.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Totally.
To like just one piece of art doesn't make sense.
I agree with that. I like that statement too.
Yeah,
All right,
see?
I am
Come-
putting you up on a pedestal. I'm
Ah.
taking myself out so you can tell your pineapple pizza story.
No,
Are you
so
ready?
listen, here's the thing. So you're a pineapple on pizza guy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, fine. Like I'm not dying on a hill for people to say it doesn't belong. Like if it didn't belong, find me like the ingredients that only belongs on it, and then you'd find a meal that nobody gives a shit about. That's the first problem. Pineapple pizza is a pineapple ring base or a pineapple wedge base that you use. So you grill that sucker, and you get that down there, and you get a little bit of caramelization on it. Then you get your pizza sauce. You grab maybe a salty meat, a cured meat, maybe a Canadian bacon, maybe a prosciutto, maybe something like that. Then you throw your cheese on top. You can throw some olives in there too, a little bit more salt, and then you might want to steam over the top of it. But that's really it. So it's kind of like based off of, what was it, a gammon steak? The UK do it. It's like a ham piece of steak. So that's gammon steak. They use, it's like a ham. It's like steak ham. It's so you know what I'm talking about. Essentially, it's just a play on that, but you reverse it around. So instead of like the ham being the steak, it's the pineapple ring being it instead. And it's really quite delightful. It's not something you'd have every time, but on the odd occasion, why not? But imagine telling people something doesn't belong on something because of what? Jeez, that's unbelievable.
Because you don't like it.
Like,
yeah, no.
Man, like just stop. Like people don't like things. Okay, don't like things. I don't like Bruno. I think it was garbage. Basura. Like, I say this again. It wasn't good.
No.
I don't care.
I'm going to argue with you on that.
Okay, great.
Just for the content of it. So here's my background on it, though. I was in choir from basically 5th grade until first semester of freshman year of college. So that's
what?
8 years in choir. Okay. So
okay.
To me, I really enjoyed We Don't Talk About Bruno's song because musically, it's
amazing, right?
I don't want to say, it's amazing. I don't want to say like complex, but like
Lin-Manuel Miranda did it,
harmonization is phenomenal to me. Like I really enjoy it. But if you don't like it, I don't care. Like that's your opinion.
Like, so here's my issue with it.
Yeah.
It's very stale. The method is stale. Now you're going to sit there and say, but it's a kid's movie. It should be. You're not meant to. You're an adult. It's not about. Listen, this guy's writing all their music. It all sounds the same. Give me something. Now, here's the other thing. Black sheep princess of the family comes to light, finds herself, presents herself. Everything saves the day. Great. Like, I love the wholesome content. Find me something else. Like, maybe we need someone to lose every night. Like, it's like a rock movie. I can't watch a rock movie because he always wins. That's the first problem. He always stays alive. He needs to die every now and again. But 2, he's always wearing. How can he get entrapped in anything he does while he's wearing his Under Armour branded uniform on every freaking scene? Enough, man. I get it. You can't be calling yourself like Johnny Smith with like the Rock brand. You can't. Because now I already know you're the Rock and this is fake. So now like the suspension of disbelief is now dead. Right? But everything about like Encanto, and I'm sure it's a fine movie, but there's nothing different about Encanto that Moana isn't. And we're talking about
that's a good point.
And that's 8 years later. It's the same paint by numbers stuff. Like, give me something different.
Is that really 8 years apart?
I'm guessing. Moana? That's fine. I'm guessing 2014. I got onto it later because my daughter was born later than that. 2016. Okay, so 2016. So she was born 2016. So 5-6 years. And I'm sure that was the same as like something else. Like, it's the same format. It's give me something else. Because I'm a consumer, right? Because my kids don't get to consume it if I don't pay for the app, right?
Yeah.
So, pander towards me a little bit. Give me something. Frozen, same thing. Like, come on. The same thing. Like, I get it. This is great. I'm going to watch it anyway because my kids want to watch it. So I'm down with that. Fine. But, like, throw a couple different nuggets in there for me to, like, latch on and just, get me to that place. It's just, I just don't find it. I don't think it's that great because I know that it's just the same. It just does nothing for me now.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense.
But I'm not going to take away from the artistic appeal. Miranda's a genius.
Yeah.
The guy knows how to write a tune and he knows how to execute one as well. I understand. but you've essentially taken Coco and moved it from Mexico to Colombia. Same show. Like it's and they're going to take like literally the other one and move it to like Asia, but they're going to like adapt it to the like it's the same thing. I just watched Raya, same thing. Like
kids also love Raya.
Yeah, and it's fine. Give me something else though. Like you got to adapt a little bit. Otherwise, it's just and I'm not saying that Disney's formula doesn't work and they're not a successful.
Clearly, it works.
It's clearly working. My kids will be watching it with their kids and their kids one day. I understand that too. So I get where it's going, but it's just I'm just not there.
No, that's fair. I get it.
So that's why I don't think Encanto is very good. That's my long way around saying it. Just I know Jay's probably watching still, and he's going to hear this, and he's going to be like, "Oh, Dan." But you know what? I'm not going to get on Twitter tomorrow because I don't care. I don't need the drama. I'm not going to watch it.
I'll just call Jay and flip him off for you.
No, he knows. He knows it's all in good fun. That Disney Twitter though, man, they're savage. Wasn't ready for that. Oof.
All right, Dan. This has been a pleasure. It's been highly entertaining for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Before we go, where can people find you on Twitter, and what do you have coming out? What are you working on?
Don't find me on Twitter. Don't find me on Twitter. I am at the B League Says. I tend to stay away from a lot of things in the off season. I try to just recuperate a little bit. So for Going for Two, I do our Monday Night War Room, which is phenomenally fun. I get to work with 3 people that make me look great. And I say that because they are phenomenal and they bring me up. So Kyle, Gladys, and the Doc, they are just awesome fun. They're great at everything they do, and I get to be a part of what they do, and it's just fun. It's my favorite part of the year, I think. They're a ball. So we preview the Monday game. We do injury analysis with the Doc, and we do some bets and prop betting off that as well, which is great. I also do DFS for the Dynasty Rewind. That was my first year doing it with them. We might be adapting that to college football.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that could be interesting because I don't see a lot of college football DFS, which is weird. I don't know if you know. Do you notice it? I don't really notice much college DFS.
Like actual content?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Isn't that weird? All these dynasty players that don't play college DFS. You think they'd have the leg up every week,
dude?
It's just money. It's hard because they don't have. They use like they don't have tight ends. I think they just throw an extra flex in there or something like that. It's wild. Well, they don't have a defense. They have an extra flex. It's
and they have a super flex position.
Yeah, and like some of the games that you select, I only caught onto it later in the year. Some of the games.
Not all the games are available. It's
but that's why it's wild because like there's so much variance within it. It's like I don't even know where this place is, and I don't know who the team is that they're playing. I never heard of these teams. And you're like, well, the dollars make sense in the PPR game. You can kind of figure it out and piece it together. So I think we might be attacking that a little bit.
Cool.
But if not, I'll stick to boring old DFS and go from that, and just maybe not pull my hair out. I don't need to do that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at the B League Says most of the time.
Awesome.
Except if I'm in a group chat with you, you probably will see me sporadically.
Yeah, that's accurate.
If I'm online, probably not. I'm probably not a part of your thread.
All right,
is it Friday? Is it follow Friday yet? Because those things are the worst. You got to add me on.
It's not. It's Tuesday.
Oh my god! I'm not looking for. Okay.
Well, thanks again for coming on, man. It was a blast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Nightcap, at FF_Kollectiv. That's KOLLECTIV. And you can follow me on Twitter at FFShaneB. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.